Welcome, dear viewers, to Whatever You Need, the home of untold stories, quiet storms, and the dazzling yet turbulent world behind celebrity smiles. Before we dive into today's breathtaking revelation, take a moment to hit the like button, subscribe to Whatever You Need, and tap the join button to support our growing community. Because what we're about to uncover today isn't just another piece of gossip. It's a turning point in the story of a woman who found her voice in the middle of a storm. The city of Cannes glimmered under the Mediterranean sun, its red carpets once again unrolled for the parade of stars and silver-screen dreams. Among the photographers' flashes and the whirl of champagne flutes, two familiar figures appeared, Demet Özdemir and Çağatay Ulusoy, icons of modern Turkish television, walking side by side beneath a rain of camera shutters. They were there to promote their highly anticipated new series, Esref Rüya, a production whispered to be as haunting as its title. But while the world's eyes were fixed on their radiant smiles and polished elegance, a hidden storm was brewing behind the scenes. Somewhere between the laughter of Cannes and the whispers of Istanbul's tabloids, a single message, short, sharp, and deeply personal, began to unravel the calm facade surrounding Demet Özdemir. According to close sources, it all began with a private warning from Yaman, Demet's former partner, and a name forever entwined with her early fame. Before Demet's departure for Cannes allegedly sent a message urging her to be careful around Çağatay Ulusoy. It was the kind of message that carried the weight of jealousy masked as concern, of affection disguised as authority. But Demet's reply, if the circulating rumors hold even a grain of truth, was anything but silent. Her response, said to be fiery and unfiltered, struck through the air like lightning. "Who do you think you are, interfering in my life? You spend your days with Sarah and then come to give me advice. You have no right to warn me about anyone. Are you my lover or my husband? Please don't cross the line, calm down and stay out of my life. Put yours in order first." And with those words, whether real or merely whispered into being, a chapter quietly closed. When Demet and Çağatay finally stepped onto the famed red carpet, their composure was impeccable. Demet shone with quiet grace, her gown flowing like liquid silver, her every move a study in self-control. Beside her, Çağatay appeared calm, yet careful, the kind of presence that carried both professionalism and a sense of silent understanding. Observers noted a subtle distance between them, the kind that could be read either as emotional restraint or as a deliberate attempt to avoid feeding the fire of speculation. The question lingered in everyone's mind: had Yaman's warning somehow reached into that moment? Insiders insist otherwise. According to those close to Demet, her attitude had nothing to do with her past, but everything to do with boundaries. She was done letting anyone define her narrative. What began as a graceful promotional tour for Esref Rüya soon transformed into an arena of unspoken tensions. Journalists, sensing the electricity in the air, began asking sharper questions. At one press event, a reporter dared to bring up the message. "What do you think of Yaman's comments?" he asked. Demet, her lips curling into a composed smile, replied only, "I'm focusing on my work." A single sentence, but loaded with meaning. The tabloids didn't miss it. Her answer became the spark that reignited the fire. Turkish entertainment analyst Selin Kara described Demet's reaction as the dawn of her independence. In her words, Demet Özdemir has long lived under the echo of her past with Yaman. But this message, this act of setting boundaries, is a declaration of freedom. She's not the woman she was years ago. She's a voice of her own now. And somewhere in the silence that followed, the industry began to understand, Demet Özdemir wasn't simply avoiding gossip. She was rewriting her place in it. Yaman, for his part, remained silent. No press statements. No clarifications. Only whispers from those within his inner circle. "He's hurt," one insider reportedly shared. "He didn't expect such harsh words. He says he only meant to warn her out of concern." But concern, when misunderstood, can sound like control. And control is the one thing Demet seemed determined to reject. Sometimes silence is the strongest answer. Even when you're not speaking, your heart speaks for itself. Those who had followed the drama knew exactly what she meant. It wasn't a caption, it was a statement. A line drawn in the sand. Fans flooded her comments with messages of support, interpreting the post as her subtle response to the entire controversy. The hashtag Demet Özdemir trended for days. Women across social media hailed her as a voice for self-respect and emotional clarity. According to whispers from within her team, Demet met privately with her manager upon her return to Istanbul. The topic: damage control. How to silence the noise without compromising her dignity. A source close to the actress claimed she was clear and decisive during the discussion. "I don't want these issues discussed anymore," she reportedly said. "People should remember me for my work, not my personal life." Those words, quietly spoken behind closed doors, reflected the same resolve that audiences had begun to see on screen in Esref Rüya. Meanwhile, the media continued dissecting every photograph from the festival. In many of them, Demet and Kagate could be seen laughing, whispering between shots, sharing brief but warm exchanges. To the casual observer, these moments might have looked like chemistry, but to those who knew them, they were nothing more than friendship forged in mutual respect. There was no secret romance, no hidden agenda. Just two professionals carrying the weight of public scrutiny with elegance. This revelation quietly dismantled one of the most popular tabloid claims, that Demet was growing close to Kagate only to provoke jealousy in Yaman. The reaction from fans was overwhelming. "No woman should be defined by her past," one user wrote. Another commented, "Demet's silence is her revolution." Celebrities and influencers, too, began showing subtle gestures of support, liking her post, reposting her quotes, or simply sending hearts. It wasn't just a moment of gossip anymore, it had become a cultural statement about self-worth. His silence, too, was a kind of loyalty, the quiet presence of a colleague who understood the cost of fame. As days passed, rumors began to swirl that Yaman was preparing for an exclusive interview, one that might address the situation directly. But those plans, if they ever existed, seemed to fade under the shadow of Demet's composure. According to insiders, she made her stance very clear: "I don't want these topics to be mentioned anymore. It's over." And perhaps that was the final word. Not shouted, not written in bold headlines, but whispered with dignity. In the glittering chaos of Cannes, amid the clicking cameras and fragile egos, one truth emerged like a quiet melody: Demet Özdemir had found her peace. The message, the tension, the red carpet smiles, all of it dissolved into the larger story of a woman reclaiming her narrative. Some called it an ending. Others, a beginning. But perhaps it was both, the closing of an old chapter and the first line of a new one. And as the lights of Cannes dimmed and the sea breeze carried away the last whispers of scandal, Demet's silence became her loudest statement. No longer a woman defined by someone else's story, she stood as the author of her own. Thank you for watching this deep dive here on Whatever You Need. If you felt inspired by Demet's journey, her calm, her clarity, her courage, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the join button to support us as we continue bringing you stories that look beyond the surface. Until next time, remember, in the world of fame and illusion, sometimes the quietest voices speak the loudest truths.